Welcome to the last part of sample book 5, our knit sample. We are now going to sew our hem and we are done with sample book 5 and you've now successfully sewn a knit. So, quick little recap. So we started by sewing our shoulder seams at the overlocker and pressing those forward. Then we did our arms, our neckline by folding that over between 1/4 and 3/8 of an inch, pressing that, and then top stitching. And then we did the same thing to both of our arm sides before we did our side seams by pressing between 1/4 and 3/8 of an inch, and then top stitching that. Then we overlocked or serged our side seams just like we did for the shoulder, and we pressed those to the front, going in the same direction that our shoulder seams are whenever we're pressing, kind of like, especially our seams that are bringing the front and the back together, you always want them to go in the same direction. So whichever side you picked for one, I just made sure I went the other way. And I've now pressed this up 3/4 of an inch for a hem, and I'm now going to sew my hemline at 5/8 of an inch. And I'm going to backstitch at the beginning and at the end. And so remember, 5/8 of an inch is halfway between our 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch seam gauge or on the throat plate. So we should see part of the 2, but not part of the 1. And so we're just going to sew our hemline just like we did for our single turn hem in our earlier sample book assignment. Going nice and slow, readjusting as needed, only focusing on what's immediately in front of our needle. So again, just readjust as needed. And I'm going to go ahead, now that I've kind of got quite a bit done, and I'm going to trim my threads. Where did my shears go? So I don't want to have like too much thread kind of like creating this huge knot where I started. But it can be kind of difficult to get around that when you first start. So after I go about halfway through and I'm now on like the other side, that's when I go and I trim my starting ones whenever I'm going to be doing something that's going to become sewing in a circle. And I can now just finish my hemline. You want to go over where you started because we want to make sure that we've fully sewn that. Backstitch. Make sure our take-up lever is all the way up. And we can trim those threads. And you have now successfully sewn a knit product. So, should look like this. We are completely done. All we need to do now is give it another press to set our stitches And after it cools down, it can go in our book. So remember, if you want to see this, I have it in my binder, and you can look at all the things in the binder. But this is your successful sample book 5, the knit sample. And you have completed that, and you're ready to move on to sample book 6, our zips. Congratulations.